Good evening, East Alabama. Welcome into the locker room on this Thursday afternoon. My name's Namath Pitts. Yesterday was a great show. We had the legend, Coach Michael Short, in studio with me, who he kind of analyzed my top 10 preseason rankings for football. We also took a look at my Super 7 predictions for football. Well, today we're going to shift sports, but do the same thing without Coach Short. We're going to take a look at my top 10 volleyball rankings for each classification. And it's hard to predict the state championship game because of the way sometimes areas fall up against other areas. But I'm going to predict the state champion from each classification 1A through 7A. Hey, we want to remind you to hit that like and follow button on our East Alabama Now page. You know why? Because we're just getting started. We're not going anywhere. The locker room is here 3 days a week right now. Now, we're going to go into August, but officially starting, let me get my calendar, just double check, make sure I get this date right for you guys. Starting on Monday, August 26th. Monday, August 26th, we will go back to 5 days a week. Super excited about that, and I'm super excited to continue working for East Alabama Now. We also have our East Alabama Now news tonight at 6:30 p.m. Mike Stedham and Katie Edwards have your local news. John Holder has your local weather, and I will bring you sports. We'll talk tonight about Madden Khan. She's only won 8 individual state championships between cross country and track. She's still got one more year left, guys. She could technically win another 3 or 4 this year alone and end up getting over 10 plus state championships. And she's headed to run college track and cross country at Jacksonville State University. We talked with her today. You can get that story tonight at 6:30 on East Alabama Now News. All right, we're going to take a look at Class 1A and Class 2A, my preseason rankings for volleyball. Let's get right into it. Let's take a look at Class 1A. All right, right here off the dot, my number 1 is Coach Ricky Alston and the Spring Garden Panthers. They are your defending 1A state champions. They're returning Ace Alston and Avery Stewart. They play in 1A Area 12. Spring Garden, right now, my favorite in Class 1A. Number 2 is the team that was the state runner-up in Class 1A a year ago, and that is University Charter, coached by Stephanie Gaither. They're going to be playing in 1A Area 5, and they return a couple All-State players in Brinkley Wood, Maddie Golahorn, Ava Lacoste, and Emery Peasants. So I apologize if I mispronounced any of those names. Also, these returns are based upon, of course, if no one's transferred this offseason. We don't know about that. But as of right now, University Charter is returning 4 All-State players. Obviously, Spring Garden does lose one player that was instrumental to their success. But right now, Spring Garden got the best of them last year. They're at 1. University Charter is at 2. By the way, University is spelled wrong. That was on me. I do apologize for that as well. All right, number 3 is Addison. They are coached by Coach Katie Woodard. They lost in the semifinals of the state tournament last year to Spring Garden. They return Katie Barrett and Lauren Cunningham, and they will be playing in Area 14. Number 4 is Meek. They lost at regionals last year, but Callie Brewer does a great job at Meek. They'll be in Area 14 as well with Addison. And number 5, Pleasant Home. They're coached by Coach Tony Wilson, and they lost at regionals last year, but will be in Area 3 this year. 6 is Shoals Christian. Same thing as those teams. They lost at regionals as well, but they'll be in Area 15. South Lamar lost at regionals. They'll be in Area 9 under Coach Jessica Watkins. Athens Bible coming in at number 8. They actually lost at the state tournament last year to University Charter in the first game, but they returned Brooke Blakely, and they'll be in Area 15, which I would assume they would be right there with Shoals Christian, them two going head-to-head. And my number 9 is Faith Christian. There's some question marks with the Lions right now. They lost some key players. They've yet to actually officially announce a head coach. So they're right now still no head coach, although rumors are Kerry Rockert Skaggs will be the head coach. But I don't know if that is set in stone yet. But they lost at state to Spring Garden last year in the first game, and they'll be in 1A Area 12. And closing out my top 10 in Class 1A is Kinston, and Susanna Elmore does a great job there. They lost at regionals last year, playing in 1A Area 3. So just taking a look at kind of these rankings, one thing you notice right here is when you get to number 4, you look at 4, which starts with Meek, 5, Pleasant Home, 6, Shoals Christian, 7, South Lamar, and then Kinston at 10. All those teams lost at regionals last year because they got paired up with someone that was at the state tournament and made a run. But obviously, the big thing right here, Spring Garden, defending champs at 1, University Charter, the defending runner-up, at 2. Now, who am I predicting to win the Class 1A state championship this year? It is Spring Garden. I'm taking Ricky Austin's team to repeat. I think not only are they going to win 1A Area 12, I think they are going to go on their way. Ace Austin, Avery Stewart back. They stay healthy. I know University Charter's got 4 All-State players coming back this year, but I like what Spring Garden has. It is winning DNA. You cut them open, their blood is winning blood. They do not lose. I like the Panthers to repeat in Class 1A. All right, let's move forward to Class 2A and take a look at Class 2A. Let me go ahead and kind of break down my rankings for Class 2A. So we're looking at Class 2A. Coming in at number 1 is the Pleasant Valley Raiders. Dana Bryant is gone. She retired, but Coach Jennifer Mann's going to step in. They're going to be in 2A Area 13. They do return only one All-State player in Lily Henry, although I don't know how Madison Schwabe was not an All-State player last year. Her sister was, but Madison Schwabe was not. But they were your 2A state champions a year ago, and I think they'll be really good this year. I got Sandrock at 2. They don't have any All-State players coming back this year, but Lisa Bates does a great job. They were the state runner-up, of course, a year ago. And how about them and Pleasant Valley, both in the same area, both teams playing in Area 13. I really like Lexington. That's a team to keep an eye on. Coach Aubrey White's team lost at state last year to Washington County. They play in 2A Area 15, but they got Alex Howard, Charlie Turner, and Rihanna Springer coming back this year, who are some big players. GW Long had a good run last year. They returned Sawyer Hughes. They'll be in Area 4. They lost in the semifinals to Sandrock under Coach Craig Long. They'll be in 2A Area 4. Look at Lamar County at 5. They lost at regionals, but Terry Berry does a good job. They're in 2A Area 10. Cornerstone Schools, which used to be an AISA school, is now AHSA, but they are led by Coach Sean Matthews. They lost at regionals last year. They'll be in 2A Area 9. Bell Green. So Bell Green is returning Bryn Scott. They're going from Class 1A to Class 2A, so they're moving up from 1A to 2A. They lost at regionals last year, but I think Juliana Potts, obviously, their centerpiece is of course, Brianne Scott. So they're going to be in 2A Area 14, but I think Bell Green's going to be fine going from Class 1A to Class 2A. Lindsay Lane's at 8. I like them, of course, 2A Area 15. Lydia Carter's coming back, an All-State player for Lindsay Lane. They lost at regionals last year. Covenant Christian at 9. They're moving from Class 1A to 2A. But again, I think they'll be fine making that transition. They lost at regionals last year. And then number 10 is Winston County. They lost at regionals last year, but Tiffany Cole, I think they'll be fine in 2A Area 11. So when I look at these 10 teams, again, I notice right here, of course, you got Covenant Christian. They're making the jump from 1A to 2A. Sometimes teams handle that really well. Sometimes teams don't handle that well at all. Same thing for Bell Green. They're making the jump from 1A to 2A. I personally think Bell Green and Covenant Christian is going to be fine. I think Pleasant Valley is going to be fine with Dana Bryant retiring. I think Jennifer Mann's going to do good. I like Lily Henry. Not a lot of teams. I would say Lexington returns the most All-State players out of these teams. Of course, they return 3. Pleasant Valley only returns 1. GW Long returns 1. Bell Green returns 1. Lindsay Lane returns 1. So not really much really like experienced teams this year in terms of All-State players coming back. I guess you could lean Lexington. I really think Lexington's a team to keep an eye on this year. But my pick to win 2A is the Pleasant Valley Raiders. I think with Coach Mann taking over the helm, they're going to be fine with Lily Henry coming back. She's playing in the, matter of fact, playing the North-South All-Star game today. And I think they're going to be fine. I think not only are they going to repeat as the state champions, I think they'll probably run into Lexington at some point. And I like those two as the top. Sandrock, going to be good, but I did lose some really, really key players. All right, so in Class 1A, to kind of recap things so far, I took Spring Garden to repeat as the 1A state champion. I've took Pleasant Valley to repeat as the 2A champion. 3A champion last year was Plainview. They can't repeat as 3A state champions because they're moving to 4A, but we're going to talk more about 3A and 4A when we come back. So we are going to take a quick break. I'm Namath Pitts. Don't go away. We'll be right back. We'll be talking Class 3A and Class 4A preseason rankings, state champion pick as we continue on the Locker Room.
We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
We continue on the Locker Room on this Thursday afternoon. My name's Namath Pitts. We are assessing my preseason top 10 rankings for the sport of volleyball in the state of Alabama, looking at my 1 through 10, predicting my state champion for the 2024 season. We talked about Class 1A. I took Spring Garden to win Class 1A. Talked about Class 2A. I took Pleasant Valley. Let's take a look at Class 3A. All right, looking at Class 3A, we're going to start with my number 1 team, which is Mobile Christian, the Leopards. Yeah, the Leopards were 3A state runner-up a year ago to Plainview. Jackie Haynes does a great job. They'll be playing in 3A Area 1. They returned 3 All-State players in Milena Haynes, Melissa Patel, and Ella Manning. Mobile Christian, the Leopards, will be really good. Here's one that might surprise you. I got the Donahoe Falcons, Coach Taylor's team at number 2. They come up from Class 2A to 3A due to competitive balancing. They lost at state last year in Class 2A to GW Long. They'll be in 3A Area 9, and they returned Sam Wakefield and Callie Taylor. That's the 2, I think, probably big pieces for them. But they are making the move from 2A to 3A. This is a 1A school that is playing 3A volleyball. All right, number 3 is Lauderdale County. They lost at regionals last year, but they got 2 really good players in Molly Burchell and Adeline Dickerson that are coming back. They'll be in Area 16, and Coach Gray does a great job up there. Westbrook Christian, number 4. They lost at state last year to St. Luke's. But again, they have some really good players coming back, and Rayleigh Neal and Landry Lipscomb. They'll be in Area 12, and Denise Madison does a great job at Westbrook Christian. I really think that is a team to keep an eye on in Class 3A this year, as they, I believe, are making that move from 2A to 3A due to competitive balancing. All right, I apologize. They were in 3A last year. I don't know why I said that. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at number 5, St. Luke's. St. Luke's is a team that beat Westbrook, so you're probably wondering why St. Luke's 5, Westbrook's 4 if St. Luke's ended Westbrook's season last year. Well, Westbrook has 2 All-State players coming back. St. Luke's only has 1 in Baker Garside. Ultimately, St. Luke's lost in the semifinals last year to Plainview, who ended up winning the state championship. Coach Meredith Donald does a great job out of 3A Area 1. Number 6 is Ohatchee. Look, Ohatchee lost at regionals last year, but who did they lose to? It's all about the draw. They ran into Plainview. Now, they're not returning any All-State players, but Rebecca Hughes does a good job there. They're going to be in 2A Area 12 with Westbrook Christian. I definitely think that's a team to just kind of keep an eye on, is Ohatchee. Number 7 is Houston Academy. They lost at regionals last year under Coach Hannah Braswell. They'll be in 2A Area 3. Geraldine lost in the semifinals last year to Mobile Christian. They returned Kentley Rogers and J.C. Barana. So really, I could have put them higher, to be honest with you, but I put them at 8. They're in 3A Area 13 this year under Coach Bearden. Holly Pond. Holly Pond is making the move from 2A to 3A. I don't think that'll affect them. They'll be in 3A Area 11. Adrian Adams does a good job. They lost at regionals last year. And, there's a couple different directions I could have went with 10, but I went with Brenda Vincent and Welborn. Look, they made it to state last year. They were one of the final 8 teams in Class 3A. They fell to Plainview, who won the state championship. So they were much like teams like St. Luke's. They just ran into Plainview. Mobile Christian, they ran into Plainview. So ultimately, Welborn made it to the state tournament. They returned Bentley and Braylon Bean. Hannah Grubbs, I think, are going to be a couple of good players for Welborn this year under Coach Vincent. They're going to be in Area 9. I do think Donahoe clearly is my favorite. They only lose 1 senior in Estella Cannell. They return everybody else. Welborn did lose a couple key players like Gracie Lewis, Annalie Reinhard, some players that were really big for Welborn. So I still think there's some pieces where Welborn can be good. And, of course, I hope my Panthers are good. That was not a mic drop. That was my phone dropping. But needless to say, I'm going right here again. And here's something I want to keep interested. We're in the Calhoun area where we cover Calhoun, Cleveland County, Etowah, Welborn, Calhoun County, Ohatchee, Calhoun County, Westbrook, Etowah County, Donahoe, Calhoun County. 4 of my top 10 teams are right here from our East Alabama area. So that's Class 3A. All right, Mobile Christian is number 1. Do I expect them to win the 3A state championship? No, I'm going Donahoe. I think Coach Taylor only losing 1 senior in Estella Cannell. She returns everybody else. I don't think the jump from 2A to 3A is going to hurt them at all. So I'm going with Donahoe to win the Class 3A state championship. All right, so I'm going with Coach Taylor. How about this? Spring Garden in Class 1A, team just north of Gadsden area. That's a local team. 2A's Pleasant Valley, it's a Calhoun County team. 3A Donahoe, it's a Calhoun County team. You may think, well, you're just being a homer. No. Spring Garden won last year, I think they repeat. Pleasant Valley won last year, I think they repeat. Donahoe, I think, can win 3A. So, all right, let's take a look at 4A. And look at this. Namath. Plainview won the 3A state title last year. Yeah, but Plainview returns no All-State players from a year ago. Alexandria, on the other hand, under Coach Whitney Welch, they're dropping from 5A to 4A. They made the semifinals, lost in 5 sets to Arab. They return Aaron Spradley, who's headed to play collegiate D1 volleyball. Now, let's talk about, they got a couple of young players too, though. You got like Landry Patterson, I think is going to be really good for them. Or if you don't throw her in there, and you got Charlie Paris, who obviously is going to be an older veteran for them. Those two are going to be really good. There's other players outside that. They're moving from 5A to 4A. I really like what Whitney Welch's team has in 4A Area 12. I got Plainview at 2. Again, they don't return any All-State players, and they're going from 3A to 4A. I think 3A to 4A or 5A to 4A, I'm going to go with the 5A to 4A team every day, typically. I just think that success is going to translate easier for the 5A school than the 3A school. So Plainview's moving up to 4A. They'll be in Area 16. They are your defending 3A state champions. Number 3 is Good Hope. They lost at regionals last year, but Natasha Holder did a good job there in 4A Area 13. Madison Academy is dropping from 5A to 4A. I've got them at number 4. They lost at regionals last year, but they're going to be in Area 15 under Coach Knott, and they return Isabel Sutton, who's an All-State player. They dropped from 5A to 4A. Number 5 is Prattville Christian Academy. They're moving up from 3A to 4A, and they obviously have a couple key players that are All-State players. Bailey Rogers, Emma Kate Carter. They'll be in Area 5. Last year, they lost at state in Class 3A to Geraldine. Number 6 is Madison County. They lost in the state semifinals last year to UMS Wright. They are in 4A Area 16. And then Central Florence is at 7. They have a really good player in Chloe May. Really good player. They're going to be in Area 14. They lost at regionals last year. Kate Duncan, DAR's at 8. They return Chloe Walker, who's going to be a really good player for them. They lost at regionals last year. They're in Area 16 under Coach Broadway. Orange Beach is at 9. They return again another, like those teams. They have an individual. It's a really good player in Ava Hodo. They lost at regionals last year. They'll be in Area 1 under Coach Atkins. And then number 10 is Deschler. They lost in the semifinals to Montgomery Catholic last year, so you're probably wondering, Namath, why you got them all the way at 10? Well, you got Alexandria dropping, Madison Academy dropping, Prattville Christian coming up, Plainview coming up. I just think those teams are a little better than Deschler. Now, Deschler has Cooper Thompson coming back, who is an All-State player. So we'll see how this shapes out. All right, I want to look at something real quick. So you got Alexandria. They're dropping from 5A. Plainview, they're coming up from 3A. Madison Academy, they're dropping from 5A. Prattville Christian, they're coming up from 3A. All right, and then I'm pretty sure that covers all of those. So you got 4 of my top 10 teams were in a different classification last year. All right, Alexandria, Plainview, Madison Academy, Prattville Christian, Good Hope, Madison County. I think you could argue any of really these top 6 could win the state championship this year. But who did I pick? I'm staying local, man. I'm going Whitney Welch. I think she's going to be named the 4A Coach of the Year. She's my pick to win the 4A state championship, and it has been all East Alabama so far. Class 1A Spring Garden, 2A Pleasant Valley, 3 Donahoe, and 4 Alexandria. I'm going with the Valley Cubs. I think Aaron Spradley, man, is so underrated. Why she didn't get picked in the North-South All-Star game, I don't know, but that just shows you that the selection process is I'm just going to be nice. That's all I'm going to say. Let's take a break. We'll be back in a minute. We'll take a look at 5A, 6A, and 7A to round out the show. But Whitney Welch has got a really, really good team this year. I think they win for it. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go away as we continue on the Locker Room.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. Steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
We continue on the Locker Room on this Thursday afternoon, our final show of the week, by the way, as we continue to assess my Class 1A through 7A rankings for volleyball. So far, it's been all local teams that I've picked to win each classification, but things are about to change. All right, let's pick back up in Class 5A and take a look at my top 10. And number 1 is Montgomery Catholic. They won the 4A state championship a year ago. Not only did they win the 4A state championship, they returned 3 players that were all-state players from that team. And that's why I got them number 1 at 5A. Jennifer Denham does a great job. They'll be in 5A Area 6, and they returned 3 all-state players. All right, number 2 is Arab. They were the 5A state runner-up a year ago. They do return 2 all-state players in Millie Lackey and Bennett Elrod. And Coach Shelby Grace Jones taking over the Arab team right there in 5A Area 14. UMS Wright is at 3. They were the 4A state runner-up a year ago. They're moving up from 4A to 5A. Carolyn Houston does a good job. They'll be at area number 1. All right, number 4 is Trinity. They're moving up from 4A to 5A under Coach Dubberly. They lost at regionals last year. They play in 5A Area 6. Lawrence County's at number 5. They lost in the semifinals last year to Montgomery Academy. They'll be in 5A Area 15. Gunnersville's at number 6. They lost at regionals, and they'll be in 5A Area 14. They have a really good player in Mary George Vandergriff. Number 7's Corner. They lost at state last year to Montgomery Catholic in the first game. They'll be in 5A Area 12, moving up from 4A to 5A. Number 8, Sylacauga. They returned 2 all-state players in Anna B. Shaw and Catherine Price. They lost at state last year to Lawrence County. So Lawrence County lost in the semifinals to Montgomery Academy. Sylacauga lost in the first game to Lawrence County. Sylacauga will be in 5A Area 8. Number 9, making the jump from 4A to 5A, is Coach Amber Russell and the Jacksonville Golden Eagles. They lost at regionals last year in Class 4A. They'll be in 5A Area 11. They return Maya Swain and Cameron Stone. They're going to be really good. Still young, too. That's exciting for Amber Russell. 10 is Boaz. They lost at regionals last year. They'll be in 5A Area 13. All right, when I look at this, you look at Montgomery Catholic. They're moving from 4A to 5A. You look at UMS Wright. They're moving from 4A to 5A. Trinity is moving from 4A to 5A. Jacksonville's moving from 4A to 5A. And then Corner is moving from 4A to 5A. So 5 of my top 10 teams right here in 5A were 4A teams a year ago. Just a little interesting thing to look at. All right, who do I think is going to win Class 5A this year? I'm going with Coach Jennifer Denham and the Montgomery Catholic Knights. They won 4A last year. I think they win 5A this year. All right, let's go to Class 6A and take a look at my rankings for Class 6A. And let's start with 1 and 2, which you could really flip and put in any order. But my number 1 is Mountain Brook. Now we're going to go ahead and go full screen real quick on this so you guys can see this fully right here. All right, here we go. Mountain Brook's at 1. Coach Maddie Gardner, the defending 6A state champions, and they'll be in Area 10. Montgomery Academy making the move from 5A to 6A. They return 2 all-state players in Ellie McBride and Caroline McDaniel. They're the 5A state champions, moving up to 6A due to competitive balancing. They'll be in Area 4 under Coach Gordon. Number 3 is Saraland. They were the 6A state runner-up a year ago. They returned 3 all-state players, Charlie Pierce, Sophia Saxon, and Hannah Pierce. They'll be in 6A Area 1 under Coach Dana Mason. Number 4 is Gulf Shores. They moved from 5A to 6A, and they lost at 5A. They lost at the state tournament last year to Arab. They'll be in Area 2. Number 5, Spanish Fort. They lost in the semifinals of 6A last year to Saraland. They returned Taylor Ishmael, and they'll be in Area 2. Number 6 is North Ridge under Coach Stevenson. They lost at regionals last year. They'll play in Area 6. 7's Pelham. They lost at regionals last year under Coach Robinson. They'll be in Area 8. They do return, by the way. Pelham returns 2 all-state players in Cameron McMahon and London Wynn. Number 8 is Hazel Green. I love their coach's name, Coco. Their coach's name is Coco Crutcher. That's a pretty cool name right there. All right, Hazel Green lost to regionals last year. They do have Evie Beller, who's an all-state player. They'll be in Area 16. Number 9 is Jasper. They're moving from 5A to 6A. Kelly Bow in there. They lost at regionals last year. They'll be in. They're moving up from 5A to 6A. They'll be in Area 13. And number 10, guys, is Pike Road, but little interesting fact about Pike Road, they don't have a coach right now. They just actually put out, I believe like a week ago, they are still looking to hire their next head volleyball coach, and we are in almost August. Not a good start, but they're in Area 3. They lost at regionals last year. Did lose some key pieces, but no coach, no problem. In Namath's opinion, Pike Road is at 10. All right, I think you could argue here that probably Mountain Brook and Montgomery Academy are probably the two best teams. Although Saraland has 3 All-State players coming back, you could argue them as well. Keep an eye on Pelham with 2 All-State players. But Montgomery Academy is dominated. Mountain Brook's been pretty good in 6A. Is it going to be Mountain Brook, Montgomery Academy, or Saraland? Who's Namath picking to win 6A? I'm going with Mountain Brook. That is not Michigan State, if you're wondering. It is Mountain Brook, the Spartans, and I'm taking them to win Class 6A. All right, in the final classification of the day, we don't have any local teams in Class 7A, but we're still going to take a look at my preseason top 10 for 7A, which may surprise you at the top. Number 1's Bob Jones. Wait a minute, Namath. McGill-Tulin won 7A last year. Bob Jones was the state runner-up. Well, McGill returns no All-State players. Bob Jones returns Kennedy Vaughn, who's arguably one of the better players in the state of Alabama in her position. So Jenny Jarrett and Bob Jones, I'm taking them at number 1 in 7A. They were the state runner-up a year ago in 7A. They'll be in Area 8. McGill-Tulin under Coach Wood is in 7A Area 2. They were the defending state champions out of 7A from a year ago. Number 3 is Ann Schilling and Bayside Academy. They make the jump from 6A to 7A due to competitive bouncing. Guys, do you know what classification Bayside Academy actually is? Well, let me just tell you this. Their wrestling team competes in Class 1A through 4A. This is a team that is 4A, 3A, 2A throughout the years and has been so dominant in volleyball. It's like 20-plus state championships in a row that they play 7A volleyball. That is insane to comprehend. And Haley Robinson's a dang good player for them. They lost in the semifinals to Mountain Brook a year ago. Enterprise is going to be really good. Thompson's at 5. You got to look at Huntsville as a team out of the north at 6. Oak Mountain 7. St. Paul's 8. Hoover and Vestavia Hills are at 9 and 10. All right, you can make a case for McGill-Tulin to repeat. You can make a case from Bayside going from 6A to 7A with Haley Robinson. But my pick to win Class 7A is Bob Jones. I'm going with Bob Jones. Kennedy Vaughn, All-State player coming back for him out of 7A Area 8. I think Coach Jenny Jarrett and the Bob Jones Patriots win the Class 7A state championship. All right, that basically covers it all. Class 1A, I chose Spring Garden. 2A, I chose Pleasant Valley. 3A, I chose Donahoe. 4A, I chose Alexandria. 5A, I chose Montgomery Catholic. 6A, I chose Mountain Brook. And 7A, I chose Bob Jones. Those are my predicted state champs. Hey, I hope I didn't offend anybody with these rankings. These rankings are for fun. We just want to use this platform to uplift coaches and athletes and use it as a ministry. If you've never watched us here at East Alabama Now, that is our main goal. It is less about me and more about God, less about me, more about the coaches and athletes. And so these are all out of fun. Hopefully no one gets offended for being ranked 10 or 9 or not being ranked. I'm just a guy sitting in a studio making these up. You know, I did spend 6+ hours, though, working on it, but not important. All right, that is going to do it for us today on The Locker Room. Hope you enjoy your great weekend. Hope you'll join me on East Alabama Now News tonight at 6:30 p.m. Other than that, we'll see you next week on The Locker Room. Have a great weekend. God bless, and thank you for watching The Locker Room.